it left a lot of people, as we know, struggling financially, right? Myself included. And basically at that time, I was just looking for a way to get some extra cash. And so I bought this course from a guy named Aaron Goldstein. And what he was doing was he was teaching people how to flip phones and make $50 to $100+ profit per phone. And when it came to reaching out to people for their items, which he called the reach out method, that was his term for it, he would simply search on different platforms, Marketplace, OfferUp, Craigslist, wherever. He would message 20 people per day and he made offers on their items. That was it. And so many people would say no. You know, when he throw an offer out there, he'd get declined. But some people would say yes. And he'd make an offer, possibly have to negotiate, meet up, and buy their item. So the whole process was pretty easy. And I loved it. I loved the concept. I quickly learned it. I took action immediately and put it into practice. And within a week, I was getting 1 to 2 phones. So I loved it. I loved the method. I wanted to know more. I wanted to keep it going. And for example, the other night, I picked up an XS Max 64 gigabyte cracked back. So the whole back was smashed and the customer was asking for $450 for it. So as we know, if you've ever tried to buy an item, some customers, you know, they have their prices, they believe in what they want. And so I was able to negotiate her down to $250. I got in my car, I drove 8 minutes from my house and I made $90 profit on that phone. Not bad for an 8-minute drive.
No, not at all.
Right? At my past job, it took me, 5 hours to make that same $90. So I loved it. And it just, you know, it really comes down to how important is your time to you, right? I love my time. I want to make sure I can use it in the way I want to. So we'll get into that more. But I got a question for you guys. So let's start off with this one question. And I want you guys to, if you're able to, are these guys able to type into the chat?
Yeah, they can type into the chat.
Okay, cool. So
make sure you guys are typing to panelists and attendees. So there should be a place to check on the little chat thing. Just make sure you're doing panelists and attendees so that we can see it.
For sure. All right, guys. Question. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to reaching out to a customer in attempt to buy their device? So let me ask that one more time. What is your biggest challenge when reaching out to a customer in an attempt to buy their device? So I got 3 answers for you, and you guys are going to put A, B, or C in the chat. So A, is it getting the customer down in price? B, knowing which items to search for in the marketplace? Or C, fear of receiving a negative or angry reaction from the customer in response to your first offer? So I'll repeat
the chat, guys.
I'll repeat them one more time for you guys while you're going ahead and thinking about that. So A is getting the customer down in price. B, knowing which items to search for in the marketplace. Or C, fear of receiving a negative or angry reaction from the customer in response to your first offer. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to go ahead, think about that. Throw your answers in the chat.
I hope I have the chat set up correctly. Really sure. Can you guys see the chat? I can't see. I don't know if I have it set up correctly. I didn't.
I can tell you guys from my experience, I have dealt with all 3 of those things. And so probably you guys have experienced at least, if not 1, 2, maybe all 3, right? And so I'm not sure if oh, there we go. Someone's actually responding. I see someone saying hello, everyone. So maybe the chat is working now.
Yeah, I don't think everybody's on panelists and attendees.
All good. So as we mentioned, either way.
Let's go through all of them. Yeah, let's go through all of those
Absolutely.
Really quick.
Either way, like we said, you probably have experienced 1 or 2, right? I know I have. And so I just want to touch on those topics today and just kind of, share with you guys how I've dealt with those things. So let's talk about A, which was getting customers down in price. So as resellers, we know how to correctly appraise items, right? We've learned to go on eBay or look at our direct buyer list. So by using techniques like comparing on eBay or a direct buyer price sheet, when it comes to customers though, the only pricing that they have is to look at what everyone else is selling their exact same item for on Marketplace. That's really what they're basing their price on, right? And so I remember when I first started and a customer would decline my offer, my first offer, I used to actually take screenshots of the sold item prices on eBay of that customer's exact model and condition and say, look, here's what it's actually selling for. You're wrong and I'm right, you know? And it was an ego thing. And then I would proceed to again offer a lower price, fully confident that that would get them down in price. So how often do you guys think that approach worked for me? Not even once. It never worked. And I couldn't figure out why. I was basically slapping them across the face when with the reality that my asking price, their asking price was ridiculous, right? And so regardless, no matter what I said, their response every time was, I don't care what eBay says, this is my asking price and I'm not going any lower. And so I quickly realized that the method I was trying to use on them, it didn't work, right? And so I decided to dive deeper into studying sales and the topic of selling in general, right? I knew that there was something I was missing and I needed to learn more. And so I started to notice that many sales coaches and professionals they were talking about the importance of learning to become emotionally intelligent when it came to negotiating with customers. They called it sales EQ. And so I became fascinated with this topic. Eventually, I realized that that is what I was missing. And that was the reason why I couldn't get customers down in price. So what is sales EQ? Basically, it's the ability to perceive, interrupt, respond to, and deal with your own emotions and affect the emotional responses of a customer. And so the way we apply this technique is by emotionally customizing the words we use throughout the conversation with the customer. So I'm going to give you guys some new wording to use to get your customers to drop down in price after they respond to your first offer, okay? And so here's where, if you guys gotta have, your phone, whatever you want to use, I recommend taking notes at this time because you guys can use these exact sentences to go ahead and start tomorrow, reaching out to somebody and use these to help proceed forward in your conversation.
Let's go.
Let's do it. So I'm just going to call myself, I'm going to say reseller, that's going to be us, right? That's us talking, and then I'll say customer for them. So reseller. After they, I ask a question like, how's the condition, blah, 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 one quick question. They tell me it's all good. I drop my price, right? So I would say, all right, would you take 100 cash for it with a guaranteed buy today? Customer responds with 2 laughing emojis and asks me, what type of drugs am I on? Reseller, I say, so how would you respond to that, right? I'm sure you guys have got some crazy responses while trying to talk with customers. And I think initially, especially for me in the beginning, that, it hits your ego a little bit. You kind of want to respond back with a little bit of attitude as well, right? And in the past I have, right? But it didn't get me anywhere. So here's what I say now instead. I keep cool and I say 2 words, no worries. That's it. I say no worries. Doesn't matter how they respond, no worries. And then I proceed to say, I follow that up with, I've sold whatever you're buying, whatever you're trying to buy, let's say a phone. I say, I've sold phones before, period. I know how it feels to receive a lower offer. So again, I'm saying, I've sold phones before. I know how it feels to receive a lower offer. So what is that doing? First of all, how many people do you think have said that after, they've just gotten told off for their price? Probably not too many, right? And the customer has probably also never heard that type of response in regards to what they said. So the reason why we do that is because it definitely catches them off guard, that sentence. And we are trying to relate to the customer emotionally, right? So after I say, I've sold items before, I've sold phones before, I know how it feels to receive a low offer. Again, I follow it up with the next sentence. I say, what price would you be willing to come down to for a guaranteed in-person meetup today? So notice I said, come down to, right? I'm not asking, well, what's a better price you could do? Or, could you do any less? I'm direct with what I'm asking. I'm asking them to come down, right? Because we're just trying to get them lower. So I'm pretty direct. And so it works because you guys are going to try it out and let us know if it worked for you. But for me, it works because we acknowledged the emotion they were feeling in response to our offer through our wording, right? So that's a great tip, a few sentences to try out whenever you do your next reach out to a customer and see how they respond to that as compared to how they've maybe been responding in the past to you. So B, the next, biggest challenge that you may have had in your past reach outs, maybe knowing which items to search for in Marketplace. So I get asked this a lot, right? Chris does as well. We get asked, what kind of items are you searching for in Marketplace? Like, what are the best items to start with? And so personally, I mostly buy and sell phones, laptops and tablets. That's kind of my three areas. I've bought gaming consoles, Oculus Quest, PS5. I've tried a whole bunch of different other things, and I'll do some of those on the side sometimes, but generally I stick with those three, right? And so when it comes to reaching out on Marketplace, I prefer to search for phones. I specifically like to focus on Apple, Samsung, and Google. And that is because, the payout's pretty good for those, right? Those phones do, as far as reselling goes, they resell pretty well, right? They're the most sought after. And those are what my buyers personally take the most. So that's why I go with them. And so there is what I consider the best types of phone conditions to search for. I do favorite some over others. So I'm going to let you know a couple that I love to look for myself. The one phone I always go for first, and I look for whether it's Marketplace, OfferUp, Kijiji, I am looking for damaged phones. And that is because the customer has already lost quite a bit of confidence in the value of a damaged phone, right? It's much easier to negotiate them down in price because they're well aware that someone else selling the same phone in mint condition is going to go for a lot more. So it's a little easier to start off and get them down, especially if you're just starting to do, reach out to customers. It's a great way to practice negotiating and be able to get them.
I do want to point out as well, guys, that she is not based in the United States. She's actually based in Canada. So, this works in multiple places and not just the United States.
Absolutely. It works wherever people have a phone, right? Or an electronic to sell. So absolutely, you can do this from anywhere. And the stuff that we're giving you today can be applied anywhere. And so aside from damaged phones, the next one I love to buy are passcode locked phones, not iCloud locked, passcode locked. Mm-hmm. So, just a little disclaimer to put it out there. I don't personally like to buy iCloud locked phones. I've done it. I've tried to do that in the past. I've had, crappy experiences every time. It's always just not a good deal, right? So, the reason being, you never really know whose phone it is. If you have a customer that comes to you and says, hey, it's my phone, it's iCloud locked, genuinely couldn't remember the password, I forgot, right? They just can't remember their account no matter how many attempts they've tried. Okay, I may consider buying that phone, but I always make sure that I get a bill of sale. So if you're going to go ahead and meet them, you're face to face, again, they're really genuine in your face saying it's mine. Yeah, it is the same as activation locked. As long as they're saying, hey, it's mine, exactly, and that was from Yvette. Exactly, Yvette.
So actually, when it comes to passcode locked phones, a lot of the times people forget their passcode on the screen, and you can actually have them remove the iCloud lock from another phone if it's connected to the same iCloud account. I buy these all the time. all the time in pawn shops, because earlier actually I was looking at an iPad Pro 4th generation inside of a pawn shop. It was passcode locked, and the guy was like, "Well, we can't do much with it." I looked it up, and there was no iCloud, and I was like, "All right, well, I'll be back whenever you guys come down on the price, in a few days, and I'll buy for 400." So because I knew that I could just take it home, reset it with iTunes, and I'm good to go. I make a lot of money on those devices, a lot of money, just a simple reset.
Yep, same here. And what Chris said, that's exactly why I buy them, because the customer really has no idea that a passcode lock can easily be removed, right? They see the phone as a brick, basically, that can't make calls. And the only people they can sell it to are resellers like us, right? Because most people who want to buy for themselves, friends, family, they need a phone to make calls on, right? And so they're looking for us, for someone who can possibly buy it for parts. They're hoping someone will buy it for parts. And they're usually willing to negotiate because they're limited as to who they can resell it to, right? And so, that's that. So fear of the next one, C, was fear of receiving a negative or angry reaction from the customer in response to your first offer. So when it comes to the game of reaching out to customers and hitting them with a lower offer, most people, just keep this in mind always, guys, most people are going to respond to you in a non-ideal way. And that's because we're asking them to take their price, $100 to $200. We're trying to get them to take that off their original asking price, which emotionally, it offends them, since they truly believe through their thorough market research that their item has been priced fairly. They don't realize that it's, could be crazy high. And so the truth is, we can't stop them from initially getting offended and telling us no, because it's in their head. Chances are they're gonna respond negatively. But 99% of the time, we can control what happens after the initial response. So as mentioned before, we do this by emotionally customizing the wording we use throughout the conversation with the customer. So I've already given you guys a new response approach that will help you to continue the negotiation with the customer. And I recommend you try it out ASAP, right? Go out there tomorrow and try this attempt out. It's a few sentences and you'll see it'll change things up. So, however, I've also created what I call my highest chance of buying script, and which includes every single chat response you need to take you from, "Hi, is this item still available?" all the way to, "Thanks again, Bob, for your selling me your phone today. Please leave a review on my Google page. We hope to do business with you again." It's the full package, right? It gives you guys everything that you need to say. So I'm going to pass it back over to Chris so he can just talk to you guys a little more about it in detail.
For sure. Yeah. So, when it comes to, her outbound offer method, I think it's unique in the sense that it uses a lot of persuasion. And at the same time, it's almost like grace with the customer, right? Like, they might get mad at us because, why wouldn't they, right? But then we respond with some sort of positive action, right? It's so counterintuitive, but Kayla does it seamlessly, right? One thing that I would like to show, if you have them with you, Kayla, I'd love to see, show these guys some conversations, kind of showing them exactly, how you talk to these people, right? And then towards the end, we'll go over, the actual, the method and the what we have at the end.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look. I think you can share your screen. So.
Yep, that's a great idea. So we'll just give you some examples, right?
Go to action. Yep. Who wants to see the wording and everything in action?
Yep, I'm going to give you guys some live combos that I've had with customers that actually, one of these I referred to when I was just talking to you guys. This one was just from a few nights ago. And so we'll start with this chat. So by the way, can you guys see my screen? Just give a
I can
see it. Yes.
See it.
Good to go?
Should be.
Cool. Okay, so this is this was an 11 Pro Max. And this customer wanted $450 for it. By the way, it is a damaged phone. So I start off with, "Hi, is this still available?" "Hi, yes, it is." "Okay, great. And it's unlocked, right?" So the reason why I asked this, I do want to know if it's unlocked, but I also want to pull her into the conversation. She's probably got a bunch of people messaging, right? Or maybe not, but she could be doing other things, cleaning, taking care of her kids, whatever. I want to pull her more into the conversation, aside from just, is this available? To make sure she's here ready to talk with me. So I asked this, and we call it an attention grab question. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. And it's unlocked, right? Yep, unlocked and works perfectly. Cool. Okay, what do you take? I go right into my offer. So I don't ask yet, how many gigs? What's the battery health? You know, does it come with the box? As you can see, I'm not asking any of that right now. We're going to get right into the price, because all these guys want to do is sell their phone, right? They're not salespeople. So they don't want to answer a million questions, and we don't want to waste their time. Okay, cool. Would you take 200 cash for it with a guaranteed buy today? So she said 350 is the lowest I can go. So guys, she wanted 450 for the phone, right? And after only my first offer, she has dropped down by $100. That's really powerful. And there are certain things I look for aside from conditions of phones when I'm looking who to message on Marketplace or wherever. And this is definitely one of them. I'm looking for customers who will drop down by 50 to 150 bucks really quickly, because this tells us chances are she probably wants to sell this phone pretty fast, right? So 350 is the lowest I can go. And then she says, if the screen wasn't cracked, it would sell for around 800. Whether that's true or not, all I care about is that I didn't ask for that extra info, but she was happy to tell me. So that's another cool thing. When customers offer more info and you didn't ask for it, it shows you that she's actually trying to sell me now on the phone, right? And so when they offer details like that, it's really good to notice that, because it shows you, okay, she's, probably going to negotiate further. And so I said, no worries. So, I didn't go back and be like, well, maybe it wouldn't sell for 800. I don't know if you're completely accurate on that price or whatever. I just say, no worries. And I keep going forward into my next sentence, because I'm just trying to move this combo forward. So I said, I actually buy phones for a living. So I'm a serious buyer. It's just, I got to be able to resell it for a little profit. Could you do a little lower? And so I told her that I buy phones for a living. What do you guys think? Go ahead and let us know in the chat if you guys have any idea why I, even brought up that I actually do this for a living. You probably have an idea, right? And that is because she's getting hit up probably mostly from people looking to buy the phone for themselves or their family. Not too many resellers. So we want to stand out from all those people. And customers can get, they're skeptical. There's worries that they have. Yeah, absolutely. That serious buyer. Exactly. We want them to know that we're probably, not here to waste their time. We are serious about buying their phone. And so I said, could you do a little lower, 220? So right after that sentence, I dropped another offer. So she says, if you can come up to 300, then we have a deal. So again, she just dropped another 50 bucks. And I've only given 2 offers. Again, it tells us she's pretty ready to sell. So I respond with, I definitely want to buy it. It's just currently the most wanted iPhone is the 14 series. And if people do want an 11 Pro Max, they're looking for mint condition and don't want to pay for repairs to fix it. And then I give another offer. I can do 230 cash and pay now. So I'm not lying, right, guys? Most people want the newest phone always. And, if they want an older phone, they want it mint. Even if you were to buy it yourself, if you're probably going to looking for a used phone, you want it as mint and as close to 100% as possible. We want it as new as possible. And the customer knows that. They understand what we're saying, right? And people don't want to pay for repairs. I don't want to buy a cracked phone and then have to go fix it myself, right? I might as well just buy a new phone. So they get this really, they can understand this wording, and it's a good response. So then I offered 230. Yes, so she replies, yes, I've been getting a lot of resellers, but none have offered this low, right? So she did acknowledge that I am a reseller. I do this for a living, but nobody's offered this low. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, right? And so I say, again, I don't get into, what other prices have you been getting, or, whatever. I say, no worries. What's the battery health number? Now I'm asking him the battery health number, because, maybe I can use that if it was really bad, let's say 70 something, I could possibly use that as a negotiation tool, right? What's the battery health number? 81. It's pretty low, right? But
also getting them to acknowledge it at the same time. I do want to point that out. That's like, oh man, I didn't realize it was 81%. Like as soon as they see that, they're just kind of like, looks like the battery needs to be replaced too.
Exactly. We get them to subconsciously realize it, and we also need to know it anyway. So it works both ways. And so it's pretty low, but my specific buyers will take the phone as long as the battery's 80 or higher. So I'm still cool to buy this phone. So I say, I get you want to make the most profit you can for it. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that I'm a reseller, so I also have to make a little profit. Plus the battery is quite low. So I use that, right? Even though it wasn't too bad, I still say the battery is low. And I relate to her again. So as I'm going through these, this chat, guys, remember what we said about using emotions through your words, right? I'm relating to her. I'm telling her, I'm trying to see it from her shoes, right? She wants to make the most profit. We all do when we sell something online. I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. So she's saying, okay, cool. She gets it. So yeah, could you meet me at 250? I think that's what, my fourth offer now. Can you meet in Scarborough? So this basically says to me that she's accepted my offer finally, right? And now she's just trying to figure out where she would have to meet to go out of her way. So I say, yes, we meet with customers, and this is what I do. So this location that I gave her is actually where I get all my customers to come to on a daily basis, whether it's through, my ads or my reach outs, my OOM, right? And so I always try to get them to come to me first. I would say 50% of the time it works, 50% of the time it doesn't. But I always try that attempt first before I say, okay, what's your address? Let me come pick up. I used to do that. I used to drive around all day picking up these phones, right?
I remember that before you joined Rescale.
All the time. That was my everyday. I can't even tell you how much I spent on gas. It was crazy. And then one day Chris was like, why don't you just get them to come to you? And I was like, there's no way. There's no way that customers are all going to come to me and drive all the way there, right? And he's like, yeah, I just do 2 times, 12 and 4. And so I was like, I don't believe it. But I tried it, and customers just started agreeing to it. It's insane. Yeah. So you wouldn't believe how many it works. And you wouldn't believe how many reach out customers or, OOM customers will also come to you, right? So it's always good to try, even if it doesn't work the first time. So
it's important to note, I do want to add this in there, guys. A lot of new resellers specifically think that we need to go to the customer, right? Because we're offering a service, right? But that's not necessarily true, right? We are the ones with the money, right? We have what they need. We personally don't need the phone, right? And it's important, I mean, look at how she said this in the convo. Yes, we meet customers at the Petro here. Would you like to meet now, right? Like, it's very specific, right? So that method does work very well. And you get lineups now, right, Kayla?
Yeah, I've had countless days where I think it was when I first tried it, I think it was 2 weeks into me getting people to come to me. I had a lineup for the first time, which was insane. It's a cool feeling, right? Because you got all these customers lined up. It's also a little nerve-wracking because you're like, oh man, like you feel pressure to get through each one, to get to the next one. But in the end, it just shows you the power of, setting up a time. And what it helped me with was to have more free time. So that's a lot of things that, I get a lot of you guys telling me is, I just don't have time to run around and pick up the phones. And my goal is to have more time and schedule to do this 2 times of the day, 12 and 4, or whatever times work for you. Get them all to come at once, and you'll suddenly have so much more time in your day. And so I said, could you come to me? She says, can we meet at whatever address she wanted? It's close to there. I just prefer that if possible. So I said, what did I say? I said, sure, that's fine. Because I looked up the address and it was 8 minutes from my house. It's not a big deal. It's cool. Usually this is, if you can see the timestamps there, it's an evening time. I'm usually finished long before this, but I had the time. I said, what the heck, I'll go get it. So I said, okay. I said, what's your contact number? I always get their contact number, guys, every time. Even if they aren't going to give it to me, again, just like asking them to come to me, I always attempt to get the number. That's because it's happened to me, twice at least. I've driven an hour and a half to go pick up a phone, and that customer has no-showed. And I was pissed, right? So you do not want to be in that position where you just wasted gas and time that you could have been doing something else, all because when I got there, they said, message me in the chat, and there was no response when I got there, right? Always get a number if you can. So she says, I have gotten my new phone set up. Yeah, I haven't got my new phone set up yet. So you can't call or text me. I can message you here. So I took a risk. And then sometimes in this game, you got to take risks. But I took a calculated risk. I calculated how long it was going to take me from my house. And again, if you look at the timestamps, she's messaging back really quickly. She's on it. When I message, she messages. So that tells me she's probably going to be watching, having her eye on the chat as I'm heading to her, right? And when I arrive. So I said, okay, so make sure you look for those things before you just decide to go. And so I said, okay, no worries. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Is that cool? I always say, if it's going to be like 8 minutes, I tell them I'll be there in, 12. Give yourself a few more minutes, right? And she said, oh, no, sorry. Can we do 7? So I asked her if she could do that time in case she couldn't. And turns out she couldn't do the time I needed. She said, no, can we do 7? Sorry, I should have said that. No worries. I never create friction. I always say, it's all good. No worries. I got to be somewhere for 7:30. So can we meet right at 7 just because I can't be late? Guys, I didn't have anywhere to be at 7:30. But again, my purpose of saying that was to make sure that she was going to be on time and she was going to be there, right? So we're not wasting each other's time. She said, yep, that's fine. And she added an exclamation mark, right? So anytime, by the way, someone adds an exclamation mark to a sentence, she said this in the beginning too, by the way, when I asked her if it's for sale, she said, yep, it is, with an exclamation mark. That is super important, even though it's such a small detail. That tells you that there's emotion with that sentence. So she's telling me, yep, that's fine. When in reality, she's saying, for sure, I'm going to be there. No need to worry. I'll be there right at 7. So I say, okay, great. I'll text you when I'm on my way. I let her know that I'll text her so that she knows, again, I'm serious. I'm giving her this detail. And I told her, I'm on my way now when I was leaving. She said, okay, great. Me too. Thumbs up. She described what she was wearing. So she said, I'll be in a camo jacket right outside the convenience store. And I said, sounds good. I'm in a beige hoodie and gray sweats. So if someone tells me, without me asking, what they're going to be wearing to the meetup, immediately I respond and tell them what I'm going to be wearing. That is because I want to build trust with that customer, right? I want to build as much trust as I can from beginning all the way to, forever when they continue to sell to me. So it's a great way. If they were to say, I'm going to be in a black Dodge or gray Jeep, I'm going to tell them what color car I'm going to be in right away because it builds trust. If they give me their phone number, I'm going to give them my phone number right away after they respond. So always share the same info because it builds trust. And that was the whole chat. What did we say after that? Okay, great. Da, da, da. That was it. I met up with her. And
wait, Google review.
Yeah.
Google review. This is important.
Exactly. So I always ask for a review, whether it is for your Facebook page. I've asked for, whatever pages I have. Sometimes I ask for Facebook, Google, whatever. But I say, thanks again. I said, thanks again, Kayla. Below is a direct link to my Google review page. If you could give a 5-star rating and leave a comment in a few words, it will help us do business with more wonderful customers like yourself. So notice that I asked for a 5-star rating, right? I used to just say, actually, not too long ago, I just changed this not too long ago. I used to say, if you could just leave me a rating and a comment, right? And then I was always worried that they were going to leave 3 or 4 stars, even though they had a great experience. So, I just had the idea to say, why don't I just change it to 5 stars? But I was worried that sounded a little pushy. No one ever had a problem with it. Once I did, I'm like, let me try it. Everyone was like, cool. I have never received anything under 5 because I asked for 5, right? So if you don't ask, you don't get. So I would put in 5-star. Don't worry about, sounding pushy. And that was the whole conversation.
Love
and
it.
so I have one more here if we have time to go over it, or are we just gonna?
Yeah, let's go over it real quick. Let's go through another one real fast.
I think this one's pretty short. And so, okay, so what's this? This is a 12 Pro, 128 gig, mint condition. So this one's not broken, damaged. So I said, hi, are you still selling this? Yes, it's available. Okay, great. And it's unlocked, right? Again, I'm using that attention grab question. There's a few things I have 4 sentences I like to use, but this is another one. It's unlocked, right? Yes, it's unlocked. Okay, would you take 600 cash for it with a guaranteed buy today? He said, I can make it 650 as final price. And what was he asking for? He wants 700, right? Okay, so I said, no worries. I actually buy phones for a living. I'm a serious buyer. I just got to be able to resell for a little profit. Could you do any less for a guaranteed cash buy? 620? I can't go beyond 630 as it is in very good condition and looks like brand new. So remember, he added more details than what I asked for, right? So even though he's trying to hold firm and say he can't, he also threw in more details. So you have to look at, keep note of that. Okay, so I said, no worries with his name, right? I'm trying to add emotion to it and just actually, even if it's just using their name, that's emotional to them. So no worries, all good. I use again the excuse, the newest phone just launched. And I think this was right when it launched. The iPhone 14 just launched, which has greatly decreased the value and demand for the older models. Could you meet at 625? So he holds firm. He says, he kind of just ignores me and he says, if you're interested in my past offer, before offer, let me know. So I said, okay, he's holding pretty firm. I said, okay, for 630, could you drop off right now? So I used the drop off to me as a negotiation tool, right? To try and get him to come to me if I have to come up $5. He said, sorry, pickup only near Rosslyn, Salem. You can pick up anytime before 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. So he's giving me direct details tomorrow, 6:30, and he's trying to take, authority on this and just take control. So I said, sorry, I try again to get them to come to me. Sorry, I wish I could, but I'm meeting other customers in the same place. So I just meet there always.
Yes.
That way it's all in one place. And this I actually learned from Chris, right? It was a great tip to try and get them to come. It's a great excuse. And a lot of times it works, but not all the time.
Nobody ever wants to make somebody else late, but they're willing to make you late.
Absolutely. So he says, sorry, can't deliver. He's still firm on that. I said, okay, could you drop off for 640? So I actually came up a bit in price. I'm trying to figure out why he can't drop off. Is it because it's not enough money, or does he, not have a car? So I'm offering just a little more to find out. He says, no, I can't deliver at all. It's pickup only as mentioned in the ad, right? He did say pickup only, but I still, even though it said that, I still attempted it because sometimes they'll still do it even though they say they won't. So I said, in that case, could we at least do 625 to cover my gas? Which was $5, guys. What kind of gas are you getting with $5? But I still just wanted to get a little more. If so, I can be there for 8 a.m. So he didn't respond for a while after that one, after I asked him about 625. So then an hour later, I followed up. If so, I can be there for 8 a.m. He said, okay, sure. Right. So it's just a matter of trying to continue to message and get them down. He said, cool. Can we meet here? I said, all right. Sounds good. What's your contact number? Again, he couldn't give it out either. He said, you can text me here, but the address was super close to me. So I said, cool, I'll message when I'm heading over. And that was it. That's it.
I like
guys.
how everything's pretty much copy and paste too. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. It's copy and paste, and it's really not that hard, guys. It's just a matter of knowing what to say, right? And having a good script to allow you to just throw those responses out and keep things moving.
Love it. You guys think is that pretty cool, guys? Let us know in the chat. You guys learn anything? Let us know. What's up, Nathan? Good to see you, bro. Yvette says great info. Fantastic. Love it. Yeah, it is great info. And I'll be honest with you guys, I learned a lot from Kayla. Ever since I brought her on as a coach, actually. I have, I'm not a reach out person. That's not who I am. I run a very lazy, laid back business, right? Like my whole business model is very laid back. I usually only run ads, right? And I get people that, come, message me. So, but, in this way, through Kayla's own coaching as well, we actually, we've created, quite a few things through this. Using, she's used a couple of my techniques. I've used a couple of her techniques, and it's pretty awesome. I know Kayla, you started doing the scheduled meetup model, and that totally changed your business. You also started using ads, which you weren't using before. So
Yeah, exactly.
her business is, wildly changed due to ads plus the reach out, and all of that. So it's pretty awesome. Awesome stuff. Can you share the Word document? No, this Word document that she was sharing won't be shared directly in here. No. But we do have something prepared for you guys. Kayla and I have been putting our brains together, and we put together what's called her OOM model. So what it is, the OOM, right? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Outbound
OOM, outbound offer method, OOM. Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. So who is interested in seeing what we have put together? If any of you guys have gone through any of my programs, expect something similar, except, through, a different kind of medium and how this works, right? So Kayla and I have kind of partnered up, and, we built something for you guys that I think will be pretty cool, right? So I do want to go over what's in it really quick. And I put together something here. We'll go over that first. Let's see. I do not see any of the other sponsors. Yeah. So Julie, you might not be under panelists and attendees. That's probably what it is. All right. So I do want to go over, what's in what we're going to be offering you guys, right? Here's what's in it, right? So it is a program. It is a course that Kayla put together herself with a little bit of help from yours truly, kind of more or less guidance, I guess. But she did a fantastic job with this. Fantastic job. It was really good. I watched it myself. And she's really good at what she does, right? So you can think of me as ads, and Kayla is a master at this method. Absolutely a master. And then there's a couple sections with this. And these are really good. So you're going to learn the most effective way to use the OOM model, right? You're going to receive a script, right? She does provide a script, which was awesome. On top of that, you'll be able to get every single tip and strategy that she has learned. She's going to show you how to push yourself into the marketplace. This is important, guys. Most of us are terrified of even messaging people, but she shows you how to do this. Immediately getting hit with a bunch of no's. Guys, this is a big one. People hate the word no, but getting used to that word is incredibly powerful. Ignoring your inner fear. Actually, Kayla, how about you go over this? Like, this is your thing. I'm gonna let you kind of go down.
Yeah, for sure. Ignoring your inner fear of potentially getting, cussed out by a seller in response to your low offer, which, guys, that does happen sometimes, right? And that one specifically, a lot of times, if you don't know what to say, you can stumble a bit, right? You can kind of, just kind of get flustered and not know how to respond to that. So we definitely, got you covered as to what to say for that as well. And still being committed and determined to keep asking for the sale until you get your 1 to 2 yeses on a daily basis, right? What we have is just going to allow you to want to come back and do it the next day, right? Sometimes we get a little fearful to try it again the next day because we got hit with too many no's, or we got cussed out too many times, and we just want to, take a break from it. So by having, what we're offering, it's going to provide you with that confidence, right? And that security to go back in and do it again. Section 2, the EQ shift and how to deal with the types of customers. So there's different types of customers. Let's go over them. Once you throw out that first offer, you're going to get 5 different types usually of responses. And these are what they are. So type 1, customer apologizes and says your offer's too low. Sorry, it's too low. I can't do that price. Type 2, customer responds with LOL, laugh out loud, and declines your offer as well, right? I get those first 2 on a daily basis, guys. Type 3, customer responds only with an emoji, which is usually the laughing emoji. Type 4, customer cusses you out and declines your offer. And type 5, customer leaves the chat. They literally just leave the chat without any response, at which point, like if you're talking with them on Marketplace, it totally shuts down the chat. You can't respond, right? So it's knowing what to do and how to respond after each of these types of customers. These are really the ones you're going to get. And we make sure that you have responses for every single one of these so that you continue to have that confidence to keep going into the chat.
Love it. Let me scroll down here. Moving on to section 3, she goes into the reseller's dream customer. So I'll let you go through the rest of this.
So moving on to, we have the reseller's dream customer. So the reason why we called it this is because I do have certain customers I like to hit up first before I do everybody else. And so here's a few things I like to look for. We're going to show you guys how to deal with someone who is not a reseller, right? I prefer to not hit up resellers on Marketplace, for example, because they're just like us. They need to make their bottom dollar. Same with us, right? So we teach you how to deal with someone who is not a reseller. We deal with a customer also who prices their item low or underpriced, which is a really good thing, right? Another thing to look out for. Understanding the real meaning behind someone's description. There's certain words that they put into their description when they're posting something that you could look for, and it'll show you. It's like once you know exactly what to look for, you're going to see their description as a whole different story. It's going to show you things like an X-ray that you weren't able to see before, and you'll know exactly who to message and who not to message. Next is understanding how to structure your offer in communication, right? That's what we talked about, how to structure your wording emotionally and in other ways to keep communicating through that talk. Next is how to deal with a customer who says price is negotiable. And that's a good thing. When you see that in a description, price is negotiable is a great thing. So section 4, the OOM setup and search. We show you guys exactly how to set up and make sure that you're searching to get the best result, right? You know, you go into Marketplace and you see, you can type in what type of item you want to get. You know, you might see that there's a place to put in a city or maybe even like, you know, the distance. And sometimes we overlook that stuff, right? Those things you wouldn't realize, you wouldn't believe how important they are and how easy just those 3 little buttons can get you a phone or get you a MacBook, right? They're really key. So we teach you how to use those things to the best of your, you know, to give you the best outcome. How to structure the way you start searching for items, how to find items that have the highest value and potential, understanding the best possible items to look for, and setting yourself up for success with your mindset. And that's when everything is going to change for you, right? When you're going through these things, it's a completely different game than what you've been doing so far. Section 5, learn the art of negotiation with the OOM script. The script is key, guys. It's probably one of the most important things. You know, I would say the emotion, the EQ, and the script are probably the most important things in this course. And it's a step-by-step script detailing of every response you need, how the customer talks and how you should respond to the customer, understanding your offer as a reseller and how to approach the customer, copy and paste ability directly from the script. You can literally copy and paste these in, pretty much. Objections and how to overcome them, and so much more. It's like, you know, I think we have the whole script comes with about like 60 example sentences to use. It's huge, right? It allows you to continue on throughout the whole combo. And so section 5, learn the art of negotiation with the OOM script. Step-by-step script detailing, like we said, understanding your offer as a reseller. And so section 6, see how I handle combos, right? We dive deep into my combos and show you proof that this works, just like we did today, right? You can see the combo, you can see that it is possible with the correct wording, right? I break down the wording that I use, the techniques I use, and I give a full rundown on how to talk with customers correctly. And we do have, I think Chris is going to explain, we do have a bonus for you guys as well.
Yep. So Kayla did add a couple of bonuses. I also added one myself. And I think both of these are important. Kayla, a while back, actually showed my own students a few apps that made everything, 10 times easier for my students, especially when it came to this method. And she's going to share those apps with you just to make everything even more seamless, more copy and paste, easier to, less thinking and more doing, right? And then I added something in here that I'm calling the OOM calculator. So I built a calculator that you can use to track your progress with this method. That's literally what it is. You type in how many offers you've made for the day, right? How many you closed, and then your sales and profit from that, and you can literally track it. What we've actually found from this method, because I had Kayla track this for a while. A couple months ago. And what I really found was her closing rate on this was 15 to 20%, which is insane, to be honest. Like, that's really high. Because typically with ads, it's usually about 10%, 10 to 20. So this method works, in conjunction with ads. So it's pretty awesome. So that's kind of what comes with it all, right? So the next thing I do want to move into here, guys, is the pitch. It's going to open it up and be very transparent about that, right? So Kayla's outbound offer method, right? Let's get into it. Are you ready to make thousands of dollars a month without ads? She's shown you just how to do this, like through conversation, through, doing, right? Are you ready to get a proven method that actually works? This, Kayla, how long have you been doing this? 3 years?
2 years.
2 years. 2 years doing this method. And that was before she found ads, by the way. Are you ready to get a tell me what the copy and paste script? Whoop, missed a part. What is Kayla's method truly worth? And this is what she actually told me the other day. It's priceless. Isn't that right?
Honestly, guys, it's priceless, because the ROI on this method is, you'll make back whatever you put into this course very quickly.
So me and Kayla were going back the other day, and we thought about charging $497 for this. That was kind of the thing. I've sold a lot of programs before, and I charge quite a bit for my mentorship and stuff. So we thought about charging $497. That was kind of what I wanted to charge, but Kayla didn't really want to charge that, which is, first time course creator, it makes sense, right? So we then went down to $297, which honestly, I still believe is pretty fair, right? Like super fair. What is that? 3 to 4 flips of a phone, right? Yeah. So you close 3 phones, 4 phones, you make your money back. Insane, right? And then Kayla hit me up and she was all like, I really want to see people win and get a crazy return on their money, right? So we finally agreed that this thing should be worth $497, right? Feel like that's pretty fair. That's 2 phone flips, right? So that's what we agreed upon. Then we had another talk. Chris, I want as many people to get this as possible. I don't really want money to stand in their way. So we made one last adjustment to the price. We agreed that we wanted 1 flip to pay for the entire thing. Oops. So we finally agreed on $97. $97. That's all it takes to get the outbound offer method. By the way, we're doing this for 3 days only, for $97. That's it, 3 days. And then it goes back to $147, and that will be sold on my YouTube channel. Kayla will get money from this, so support her. I think She has done a fantastic job with this. I'll be dropping this link as well. It's going to be resellingelectronicsforprofit.com/OOM. I'm going to go ahead and drop that now. Let me grab it. Where do I sign up? I'll get it right now. I'm about to drop it, bro. So I do want to know, guys, was this worth your time? Did you guys learn anything? Did you guys, did you guys, make some, can you guys see the potential? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You guys see the potential that can be made here, because what Kayla is giving away here is insane, right? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. So you're going to click on that link, right? And when you click on that link, what's going to happen? Wow. Okay. Yes. Very fair price. Awesome. So what's going to happen once you guys click that link is this is what's going to happen. So you're going to be sent to this page. It's called the Outbound Offer Method. Kayla's going to give you everything you need, to start flipping electronics without ads. As you guys can see here, this is proof that this thing works, right? You're going to come to this page, you're going to read through all this, or you're just going to scroll all the way to the bottom and you are going to get it, right? And then all you're going to do is you're going to click this button. You're going to click this button, put your information in, put your card number in, and get it. And if you want to grab a starter kit, you can do that too, which is my program. But this is the Outbound Offer Method. This is Kayla's thing. And I'm proud to be able to bring it to you guys. And so let's see, definitely worth the time, very fair price. Okay, cool. So that's what it is, guys. Looks like we've got a couple people coming through already, so that's cool. And let me go ahead and drop this on YouTube as well. I know we got some people on YouTube. Kayla, any last words?
You know what? I'm just happy to hear. I saw someone say, it was definitely worth the time to come in today. And that matters more to me than anything else. I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys something to also start tomorrow, right? I want you guys to really, really go ahead, take those sentences we worked on today, put them into practice, see for yourself if it works for you guys, right? If you've been struggling to just get customers down in price, right? You've just been getting hit with no after no. Having just a couple sentences that just change the whole game can be so refreshing, right? And so I hope it works for you guys. I hope you guys found value in this. I'm glad that there's some feedback saying that you guys did. And, I highly encourage you to keep going forward. Go ahead, grab the program because, so many people are hesitant to do reach outs, right? To hit up a customer for their item, just in fear of what to say, what's going to happen, right? But as long as you're equipped with the right tools, you just got to think of it. It's a video game, guys. It's a game. And if the goal is to get at least 20 yeses a day, and if you don't get those yeses, play again tomorrow. That's it.
Last thing, guys, this page was built over the last 2 days. So if there's any bugs or anything, you can't access the course or something like that, or if you already have some of my products, if you purchase this, it'll just show up automatically in your library. So you just go to your library, membership.phoneflippingprofits.com, go to your library. It'll just show up in there. If you already have, say, the starter kit or the ebook, either one, right? If you've never purchased my stuff before, what's going to happen is you should get an email that, talks about what to do. So just so you guys know, if you have any problems whatsoever, feel free to email, and now email only after you've gone through everything, that you need to do beforehand. Do your checks on yourself, right? Nathan says he's in. Fantastic. Awesome, Nathan. So if you guys need any help whatsoever, you can hit me up at chris@resellingelectronicsforprofit.com. I'll respond. I'm a real person, so I'll hit you up. I'll help you out. But make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure to check your spam folder, all of that stuff. And other than that, that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the program and keep crushing it. Thanks for hopping on, Kayla. So everybody say thanks to Kayla. I know she shared a ton of gems tonight.
Thanks again to all of you guys who showed up to our little lesson tonight. Appreciate you guys, every single one of you. Best of luck when it comes to reselling, guys.
See you guys later.